That looks good. What's that?
It's Wine Unknown. Welcome to Wine Unknown. I'm your host. My name is Bryant Fennell, also known as Bry Guy, and I'm a wine specialist. What does that even mean? Well, it means that I know a lot about wine, and I want to share my passion and understanding of wine with you all. So no matter where you're at in your journey, whether it's the beginning or the middle, and let's face it, there's no such thing as the end because wine is ever going and growing. This is the show for you. So hopefully you have something in front of you, a glass of wine, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. So where do you even begin with wine being so vast, right? It's just like I don't even know where to start. Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's red. Now we even have orange wine. Like what? You have bubbles. They can be sweet. They can be dry. I don't even know. Well, let's start off. What is wine? Wine is defined as the juice of various fruits or plants used as a beverage. What? It didn't say anything about grapes or anything like that, what we know of, right? So that's even more confusing. That's why we're going to talk about it. All right. So with it being so vast, wine can be anything is what it's saying. The way that we know wine or identify wine that's been popularized is by grapes. We're talking about Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Riesling, Moscato, Sauvignon Blanc. All of those are fruits that's turned into wine. I know, let that sink in, right? So you can have stuff like apples. You can have stuff like coffee beans turned into wine, apparently. But let's focus in on the grapes. So, as of today, there are only 2 species of grapes that can produce okayish kind of wine. The first one is Vitis vinifera, and that's where you're getting your Rieslings, Moscatos, Cabernet Sauvignons, etc. The ones that we all know that's everywhere. And then there's Vitis labrusca. Now, these ones you know, but you don't identify them with wine. Those are the ones where you can say, you see them in like grocery stores. And what I mean by this is, like, they are like jellies. They are jam spreads. So you're looking at the Concord grape varietal. And we know those are not those. I'm sorry, there's no other way to say that. But the question still remains. How can we turn apples, bananas, blueberries, coffees, ginger, these other things into wine? Well, it's simple. It's the fermentation process, right? Which naturally occurs. You don't have to do a thing. It's a natural occurrence. What I mean when I say that is there's this microscopic thing called yeast that loves to eat sugar and juices. And the byproduct of that is CO2, carbon dioxide, that turns into alcohol, right? Now, the crazy part about that is like plants eat carbon dioxide and create oxygen for us to breathe. So it's just a cycle of life. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's amazing that something like that can happen where we sit there and throw our produce or whatever away for waste, and then this thing of yeast starts eating its sugars, and the byproduct of that brings the CO2, and before anything happens, the plants are already and taking that CO2 and turning it into oxygen. That's just, whoa. All right. Okay, you know what? We'll save that for another episode because this is what's happening, right? This is what's happening. This is the circle. This is what I mean when I say this is a natural occurrence. But that's only with the fruit. What about the things that aren't fruits, like the rhubarb and the ginger? How can that make wine? Well, to answer your question, it has starch in it. You have to break down the starch. But how do you do that? So you have to insert an enzyme to break down the starch to convert that into sugar. And then the yeast will eat the sugars in the juice. It's all crazy. It's all wild. But yes, it still ferments. And that starts the fermentation process for you to be able to make a wine. We'll go deeper into that whole thing at another episode, but this is how you can make wine with almost anything. And that's just wine simplified. I guess we can just say wine is the sugar and the juice of something converted to alcohol. Of course, with the influence of technology and the philosophy of people, wine can become way more. But that also becomes the start of our journey of wine unknown. So if you like this program, please like, share, subscribe, and if you have something left in your cup or not, cheers. Let's have some fun.